Hi everyone, this video is on the solar plexus consciousness and the importance of it. So if anyone wants to look a little bit more into the consciousness of, I have dreams and desires, but for some reason I'm either not seeing the signs or I'm not following through on them. So what is it in my whole consciousness that is holding me back, normally through self-talk or programs or conditions we put on ourselves, not changing anything? Because the solar plexus consciousness asks you to expand on it. It is solar, it is like sunshine, it wants your rays of light to shine out. So what are your rays of light? How do you shine them out? And how do you keep an eye on whether you are bringing more shadow and cloud where it's not necessary? So I'd like to give thanks to some information articulation I'm going to share, because in my path of learning, somewhere between 10 and 15 years ago, I got more specific in understanding the chakra consciousness. And the ladies that I worked with, Adrienne Decotes, or Decotes, she might pronounce it, who is still a manifestation teacher you can find online, and Ina Lucas, which also is still in the field of manifestation, but more channeling and quantum assistance, channeling the alchemists, Ina and the alchemists, who also works with Janet Raftis as well at the moment, doing various work. So both those ladies I participated in a course with and kept some of the information, and also did some more work with Adrienne to get more specific into my energy awareness. And then I branched out as to how, naturally on my soul path, how that affects us all functioning together. So, because we all have these chakra consciousness. So with the rising consciousness that we're going through, we've been living in the mental construct, not in the heart opening construct. So there's systems in place to keep us doing things a certain way, and so we think a certain way. So we have fear sort of accumulate around opening up the solar consciousness. So there is a flow between earth and heaven and earth. And we are obviously the children in between. Mother Earth, Father Divine, the nature of that. And we can't be here without those two aspects. So it's looked at in description as a liberating current. So we're here on earth and we liberate our whole selves, our consciousness, and we expand our awareness on that and live our hearts and souls. But when we've been functioning in an environment that doesn't emphasize that, doesn't help people create outside boxes, we don't take notice of this so much. So it's really important, and it's a more subtle awareness, education, acceptance, rather than I'm learning another box I need to live in. This is more coming out. So liberating current says to us at the solar plexus, this is your ability to stand out as an individual instead of blending in with the crowd. It asks you to look at your self-esteem, so your self-talk, perhaps what you've been told and how you draw in from the outside about who you are, like your self-esteem. and courage plays a part here, so that you take a look at that. You know, am I happy with who I am? Or is there things that I want to do at this level that I need to have courage to do? So ability to step outside your comfort zone where things feel safe and comfortable. Is there something more I want to do? Well, I need a bit of courage to do that. So this is all sort of consciousness, self-talk, interplay with the world and your creation in the world. So identity development, sense of who you are as a physical being, and being happy with that, you know, like confidence in your intrinsic value and worth, and confidence in your abilities. And then the manifesting current is, once that liberating current is like in your consciousness and you're aware that this, you know, this consciousness plays a part in your well-being. So we need to take a look at that liberating current. Like, and sometimes when you've gone through stuff on the planet, like we go through challenges, and we can develop fears from other people and experiences. Our liberating current slows down and inhabits more fear in the solar plexus area, which is what I was talking about on the bigger perspective, how we have conformed to certain ways and kept them that way for a long period of time, where we've known we could do more, but we just didn't feel empowered to. So this is our empowerment zone. This is where we have to sort of make the choices if we want change in the world. It comes from us. So then the manifesting current, once we're consciously establishing that, and this really comes into effect at least from the age 16. So we're meant to have, by this time, from the sacral chakra, which is below the solar plexus, developed a sense of who we are in relationships, and the creative abilities that sort of are desires. I'd really like to do more of that. Or, you know, a parent or guardian will say, oh, you're really good at this, you know, perhaps you should do more of this. Something like that. It's like that development. Oh, and then when you get to the solar plexus, it's more of who I am, because you're coming more into the soul, the heart and soul. So we do need to take a look at the consciousness, whether we're self-talking in fear or environments create fear, because then we'll hold this solar down. But when that's all functioning well, never in like perfection, we're always going to come across different things that we might fear. It's just not holding onto them and blocking who we are because of them. When that's functioning just well and we're keeping it in balance, we're making sure we do these kind of things for ourselves, the manifesting current from heaven to earth, the heaven is feeling, sensing and seeing your opening. So your divine, more of your divinity is coming into play here. So the lighter aspects, which is, you know, the solar plexus, the heart, the receiving of spiritual guidance, like into our expression, into our upper consciousness, energetic design faculties available. So, you know, there's more air, like I've been saying recently, because this is our physical part that developed. Now we're opening into the more of who we are. So when this is functioning and like open, and we're not held down or holding ourselves down with those fears I mentioned in the liberation of being on earth, the manifesting current speaks like this: creating a clear plan of action to manifest my vision. ability to take consistent action towards manifesting my vision, creating a strategy for exactly how you can accomplish a goal, willpower, readiness to take action, ability to step outside your comfort zone to act differently in order to create a different result, and a sense of efficiency. So this is the energy field, consciousness, we can get to if we're not held back by fear. Like, we have this access of operating as, you know, humans that know they can do this stuff. Like, you can come here and create without fear. Just, you know, give love and time to yourself, you know, open up where you may have shut down, like bravery, courage. These things are necessary. Otherwise, that energy won't expand, and this liberation of the human and the easy manifestation, because it is a constant access, but we can block it up through, you know, mind consciousness, where the third eye gets unclear because we're too busy thinking all different thoughts of a lower vibration. So that's a summary, and then there's a little bit more in depth. So and then I just wanted to give you the affirmations for the solar plexus. Actually, I think I did get some of these affirmations. Oh no, that's from these two ladies. But another lady that my Reiki master years ago, just trying to remember her name, because I think she had something to do with these affirmations as well. I can't remember it. I'll see if it comes to me. Okay, so with the two liberating currents, the element of the solar plexus is fire. So it's like fire, you know, is free, just does its thing. The description of it is, you know, action, like it's movement, it's powerful, it's constant, it doesn't go out easily. So, you know, we shouldn't do things like putting our fire out. So self-esteem and courage, yep. We get to know our physical selves through the tasks of meeting our needs and exploring our desires. We integrate these experiences, develop a solid appreciation for who we are as a physical being. We develop a sense of confidence in our worth and our abilities. And so confidence is important. So you just take a look at your environments and where perhaps there is not enough confidence to speak, you know, to express your desires or what you want, which is coming from a deep place in you, because you're here to be who you are. So it shouldn't be held down. So you need to open up and like be that confident person that creates for themselves. So this contributes to a healthy self-esteem. Be around those that can help contribute to that help you speak what it is you want, rather than, you know, you feel fearful that you can't. So then there's courage, of course, to do that. It's necessary. And these qualities are necessary to move to the higher chakra levels. To reach our final destination of spiritual awakening, we must be willing to push outside our comfort zone and explore new territory. The courage to do this is something we develop at the solar plexus, yes. The spiritual lesson here for the liberating flow of the solar plexus is developing this balanced sense of identity, recognizing that your physical identity is of equal importance as your spiritual identity. Because if you're not, like we're describing, if you're not using that courage and some confidence to speak that inner desires you want to live in the world, then it's going to deplete on your spirit, because this is your energy. It's one and the same. It's the physical body living. It is the spirit. So you develop the sense of identity. We recognize our physical identity, also known as our ego, is of equal importance as our spiritual identity. It means that we recognize that the physical identity is also known as the ego. So the ego will only be overbearing if this is where you can look at imbalances in consciousness where one isn't opening to these aspects in all areas, and they might depend on certain things staying a certain way. That's when it's a sign that fears or self-talk, so the person isn't fully coming out as themselves. They are hiding parts of themselves, and like the ego can be exercised more. Like, I have to have it this way, otherwise I won't feel comfortable in doing it. But it's not about having the comfort all the time. If it has to be a certain way, it just defeats the purpose, because it's about growth, expansion, confidence, courage, So some people think that their ego identity, or who they are as a physical being, is more important than their identity as spirit. And other people think that spiritual being is more important than ego identity. The lesson of this chakra is to recognize that both are of equal importance, both deserve attention and focus. Absolutely. When we find balance between these two identities, we enjoy the benefits of a balanced state of consciousness at this chakra. We feel healthy self-esteem, natural confidence, and personal power. And these things are possible. We help teenagers grow through these kind of things, and even as adults, we can still hang on to things of the past. But healthy self-esteem, natural confidence, and personal power is available. It's just take a look at your consciousness and like what you're actually thinking regularly, and how you're holding yourself back, or you're letting others and environments make you not feel so good and not expressing yourself. So we have to we have to raise this energy in action. Action is of the raising of the solar plexus. Self-esteem, personal sense of identity, confidence, personal power, pride, personal uniqueness, ego identity. Yeah, that's all the keywords for that. And then manifesting, creating a clear plan of action and begin to take consistent action towards your vision. So strategy, willpower, energy, and drive. But this comes from that foundational liberating. Being conscious of where you're using your energy. It's that foundation of earth, liberating, opening up to heaven. Manifesting is, I can flow this down and create. Like, I can create because I've established my liberating current. And like I was saying before, when we've gone through things, we don't necessarily want to believe in change. We'd prefer to keep things the same. But that's where we need to do the conscious awareness that we need to do these things. Change and opening up. Be willing to do whatever it takes in order to create what we desire. Just to briefly summarize that one, because I think the liberating current is most important. And with the manifesting current for the solar plexus is just an acceptance that when we have risen with the consciousness, it's the power that we need for like the next level, which is I'm brave enough, I'm expressing who I am. It's like the heart, throat. When you're doing that and you're in flow of it, then it's clearer from the top down, which is the manifesting current, because you have the belief in yourself, you're opening up, you're out of a comfort, hidden. So when you think comfort zone, you think hidden or self-talk like can't do, or they won't let me, or you know, it seems like a downward spiral in the solar plexus action of life. So when you get out of that into more conscious action in that way, then manifestation becomes like just you're a creator here to create. So you just have to keep reminding yourself of that, which is what the crown chakra will say. The crown chakra affirmation says, I am unlimited spirit. I'm one with divine source of all. I'm infinite possibility, infinite power, infinite wisdom, infinite abundance. I transcend physical reality and experience my eternal, timeless, formless, unlimited spiritual essence. Okay, so that's the liberating current of the crown. That is like what happens as the energy raises, and that's the consciousness there. But coming back, it's I easily access my higher self perspective. I know my purpose in life is joy, and all things I want to experience are available to me. I clearly receive divine inspiration. I know what I want to manifest next. I connect to my soul purpose for this lifetime and activate my divine creative power to manifest a new reality into my experience. So that's sort of what opens up, and it starts at the embodiment of the physicality to the truth of that. So you need to take these steps outside of fear, old, etc. So that's just the idea I wanted to give you from when you do open that up and look at the consciousness, how you're using it at that level. The solar plexus liberating current affirmations. I am proud of who I am. I am becoming the best person I can be. I am confident and powerful. Every day, I access more of my inner strength. I define my physical identity, ignite my self-esteem, pride, confidence, and personal power. And then, so when it comes to manifesting with the flow of heaven and earth, my will is strong for the solar plexus. My will is strong. I easily take new and consistent actions. I act on my intentions. Every day I move closer through action to the new reality I want to create. I define my strategy, create a clear plan of action, ignite personal power to step outside of my comfort zones and do what it takes to help my idea manifest. So I hope that helped. It certainly helped me because with the souls that we are, we can be sort of, we have the emotional body, the mental body as our spirit here, and obviously the physical body, which has an identity as well. But we can either be like more emotional or more mental in our way of approaching life. And mine is through, I enjoy learning new things. So I enjoy mental stimulation. So to go a little bit more in depth in the chakras, is enjoyment for me. So I hope that helped you if, you know, you need to sort of articulate that to yourself, because at some stage we do need to educate ourselves in it. I just, it's an ongoing mental awareness now to look out for these things, whether they, you know, I'm participating in them in a, you know, putting more lethargy energy, like holding back and not activating myself. I just take a look at that. So yeah, so if we do sort of think of life as more emotional based, then it's good to balance it with some more articulation of what's going on. And I make sure I'm not too, well, I don't feel comfortable anyway in more mental based sort of just theorizing things. I do also allow myself to feel into it as well. So you have this both in action, not sort of all one way. Life is like this, or life is like that. Because sometimes when we do that, we can tend to judge. And you don't want to get caught up in judgment in yourself. But that's another thing. The main thing is take a look at yourself and how you're balancing that with action and being. So it's not all just about being and feeling. It's also about what you're doing with that. Yeah. Okay. All right. I think that's all I wanted to share. Yeah. Keep opening up with awareness that your internal world is important. So it is the rest phase of a cycle and the opening. So when you do take time to rest, this is where you can just lightly, well, you can take a look at things, but they're in the field of your awareness. When you're sitting, it's like, am I doing, you know, acting what I want? Or am I held back? Because we're so much doing beings and it's sped up, we don't actually take a look at what we're doing a lot of the time. And so we have the mental and the emotional body, and we need to take a look at, like, actually, how are we thinking with it, and how do I expect life to be? And, you know, it is stepping outside of that as well. So, yeah, stepping outside of comfort zones helps you learn a lot of stuff about what you think life should be, or do you have, you know, creational desires for change? And is what I'm doing with my day in alignment with that? Because that's where the human does feel out of whack. It's kind of like a fire that's just sort of burning out the edges because it wants change. But this center alignment, bring that fire back in. What are you actually doing to make and create that change? And really find solace in that, like find joy, find coming home, find questioning your life and yourself. Like, a blissful state of awareness, because, I mean, that's the creation energy and you get to use it. So it's good to acknowledge how you're using it. You know, and not forgetting your unlimited nature of the crown. I was going to say liberating flow, because it does feel like it. It really is liberating the whole thing, heaven and earth, but we get to manifest through these flows, so, which is liberation. Really, look at me in action, look at what I can create, etc. Okay, hope you enjoyed that somewhat and got some information out of it to consider for yourself and share it out. You know, share yourself out in these opening ways of however you want to rise in your creating. God bless everyone. See you again soon. Bye.